Hey, this is Sam Black with my first match with colorless red-green Eldrazi. I'm on the draw, and I'm keeping this hand. It is a tiny bit more awkward than it looks, because for the purpose of tapping for colorless mana, both of my lands come into play tapped, so I can't cast Warping Wail on turn 2, which will make it harder to cast Hedron Archive on turn 3, but I'm on the draw, and if I draw any other land in my deck, then everything comes out smoothly. Or I could always potentially end up using a Warping Wail as removal if my opponent's deck or draw is too fast. Alright, my hand is unlocked. So I'm going to play Rugged Highlands, and then Spawning Pet will let me cast Warping Wail, and then Crumbling Vestige will give me mana on the next turn. No turn 2 play. It's pretty good for me. The problem with that is it kind of points to a removal heavy hand, which makes it difficult to use Warping Wail for mana. Interesting. I think I just buy time with Warping Wail here. I'm going to kill this thing, because this will give it haste, and then it'll become a 2/2, which I wouldn't be able to kill. Possible that I was just supposed to take the hit there and make the token, and then like cast either Thought-Knot Seer or Hedron Archive and Warping Wail and Swift Spear, but I think it's better to just try to play control. So now I get to use a removal spell again, and then play Thought-Knot Seer the next turn. I think I'm supposed to kill the Bushwhacker. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to just kill the creature that naturally has 2 power. I don't think this thing is going to average more than 1 damage a turn, and I don't think its toughness is very important. Even if it does make it so that I can't trade a From Beyond token for it, I just don't think that that coming up soon is the way this game's going to play out. I don't need more than 1 colored mana in a turn, and I have this, so I'm just going to get this in play and giving me colorless mana. more invested in blocking than ramping, so I fully expect to play Thought-Knot Seer if I live through the turn. Main deck Nissa, interesting. What do you have? Nothing. Okay. Pretty good draw. Very good draw. And Nissa gets to make all of those things big. It's pretty scary. Really? Does not seem like a good attack. Why would you lose a Swift Spear to deal 1 damage? That was not a reasonable line, opponent. I'm going to play Hedron Archive. I think I'm going to be using a lot of mana, and so I'd rather be getting 2 mana a turn than 1 mana a turn. Try to keep my Thought-Knot Seer around. Target's Command would be horrible for me here. Probably just dead. Well, if I draw a land, I guess I can chump block with Spawning Bed. It's actually very real. That does not let me do that. So I think I have to draw 2 with Hedron Archive and hope to draw either Warping Wail to chump block Abbott, and then Thought-Knot Seer can block Goblin and I go to 1. Or I can draw Coslic. Even Coslic's Return doesn't save me, so I have to draw exactly Warping Wail. This is not a good spot. I guess Spatial Contortion also. Spatial Contortion's slightly better. Those are not things that save me. I'm just going to concede because I'm dead. Alright, we definitely want more Spatial Contortions. and I have to decide if I want Titan's Presence. Don't want Ulamog. I think Reality Smasher is maybe better than Ugin. It's tough. The Sweeper is really what I want to be doing, but 8 is a lot of mana. Maybe there's an argument. Exiling lands is bad. So there's an argument for cutting Worldbreaker and being just Reality Smashers and Ugins, being an early blocker and a better finisher. Makes Kozilek's Return worse, but Kozilek's Return is kind of great either way. I think I'm going to try that. Which makes From Beyond a little bit worse. I'm going to assume that Titan's Presence is just too bad of a way to kill someone who's going wide to this extent. Not sure how many big things to ramp into I need. Right now my top end feels a little light. I'm worried that I'll just make mana and have nothing to do with it. If I just get dedicated to I'm going to make Ugin. I think make Ugin is a plan that can win. Setting between cutting From Beyond and Sanctum of Ugin, which now does nothing. I guess no, it finds any colorless creature, so when I cast Ugin I get to find Reality Smasher or something. Alright, let's try it this way. This looks pretty good, actually. I have Kozilek's Return, which is my most important card. I'll just play one of these. Might have been wrong to play one. Yeah, I guess I don't need double colorless. And it's better to save them to prevent taking damage from Corrupted Crossroads. Don't feel too bad about it because I have a backup, but I think it was slightly wrong. Probably should have just led Crossroads. I think I'm going to lead a Tarka Monument. Not going to be scrying soon. Whereas getting Painless Red on my opponent's turn is potentially desirable. found a good moment for Kozilek's return. Next turn, I can play Crumbling Vestige, tap all of my lands to play Hedron Archive, and then tap my artifacts to play Return. Which is by no means a game-ending amount of card advantage in this spot, but it is a not insignificant amount of catching up. Like, I get to clear the board here so that I'm not behind, and then I can follow up with Thought-Knot Seer and Spawning Bed to play against my opponent's hand while digging for Ugin with Seer's Lantern. Reality Smasher would be a great draw, since it would answer Nissa. Let's see. Alright, I can play this first, see where it leaves us. Two Bushwhackers and an Atarka's Command. Which of these things is more threatening? The creature is a creature. The Atarka's Command provides toughness, which is good against Spawning Bed. Also, these are pretty bad without a spell to lead into them. It's interesting. I think I want to take the creature and try to keep my opponent off critical mass of creatures. So I'm gonna... Oh right, I can't attack yet. That's a little bit worse, but that's fine. Play Seer's Lantern. And gain a life. This means that a second Atarka Monument lets me animate an Atarka Monument, so it gets me a 4/4 dragon, which is very good against Nissa. We're also getting pretty close to the point where I start thinking about cashing in this Hedron Archive. Also, a spot where Spawning Bed is great. This is where the deck kind of shines. I have all these secret extra cards and threats and stuff where my Nissa's Pilgrimage equivalent can become a 4/4 flyer. My Explosive Vegetation can become 2 cards. My Wastes can become 3 creatures if we're comparing this to like a green ramp deck. That's good. figure out what I want to do with my mana this turn. Mostly whether I want to break Hedron Archive. I think I'm 1 mana short of breaking Spawning Bed and casting Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah. I can also just Thought-Knot Seer and use Seer's Lantern. I think I'm going to lead by attacking Nissa. Current plan is just to scry the rest of my mana. You using a Tarkus command? I'm not going to take it. I'm going to take the Bushwhacker. It's a lot of a Tarkus command. But yeah, I'm going to take the Bushwhacker. Yeah, so I can't break the Hedron Archive and scry, and scrying gets me value every turn, whereas breaking the Hedron Archive only gets me value once, so I don't think I want to give up a scry to break the archive. That might be too much long game thinking in a matchup where probably only the immediate future is what's important, but that's the calculus involved here. And between Spawning Bed and Seer's Lantern and hoping to find and cast Ugin, I kind of have a lot of mana sinks, so sort of like keeping the Hedron Archive around, although I can cast Ugin without it. So if my goal is just find Ugin as fast as possible, then which one does that better depends on. It's more of a highest chance of finding it within X turns question. And I think I'm comfortable with X being large, and so my highest chance of finding it within the next, 3 or 4 turns is to use Seer's Lantern, whereas my highest chance of finding it exactly next turn is certainly to break the archive, but I don't think I'd need it that quickly. Do not want. Obviously I could scry and my upkeep, but I don't think it's worth using the mana that way. So here I'm going to break the Hedron Archive. And I still have enough mana to activate Spawning Bed if I don't find anything else. I can't play Rugged Highlands and activate Spawning Bed, though. Which is too bad because I'd like to get Rugged Highlands online. Or I'd like to get Rugged Highlands in play and untapped so that my dragon works. I think I'm actually going to plan to not break Spawning Bed and just play the Highlands and hold up Warping Whale. And Scry. Hold up Warping Whale is probably not going to do anything because it doesn't actually kill something through a Tarka's command. Hitting me for 3 right now. Oh, did you draw another Bushwhacker? Is that what's going on? Okay. Is attacking even good? Let me kill your Nissa. Exile this. Since my opponent worked pretty hard to let me. Yeah, I guess maybe it makes sense to feel like think of a much better line. I guess my opponent sees that I can activate a Tarka Monument and stop them from ultimating Nissa. And so with that plan gone, because it's 3 attackers against 2 blockers, even though a Tarka's command gives reach, they felt like they needed to just try to get me in range of stealing the win somehow. So this had put me to 15, and then I was going to take another 3 down to 12, plus 3 from this down to 9, plus 3 from this down to 6. From there, it's not totally unreasonable to steal a win. And if I commit 2 things to attacking Nissa, then it's more likely, although the Spawning Bed makes it pretty hard. My opponent was in a bad spot. Anyway, that concludes my first match.